Oh, hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
What is up? I feel very, very weird on the bottom. I'm not usually on the bottom. Sam usually is.
Sam's usually the bottom.
I guess.
Yeah,
Captain
bottom.
Samerica, Brian Mensing, Casey Kelderman here, doing a live broadcast here on Backlot 605. As many of you have seen on our socials, this is our Endgame. This is it. We have announced our final show coming up May 14th, MCU Countdown. Team Backlot 605. These guys, we just had a team meeting to settle our team's top 20 MCU movies that we're going to kind of take into battle against some other schmucks that are going to be joining us from Wednesday Comics, a comic book look, team best friends who don't have a show together because
that's what best friends do. They don't have shows together.
That's what best friends do. They actually hang out and talk to each other and have fun. But that's the team of Andy Heller, Jess Johansson, and Charlie Eccles. And guys, what we're doing here is we're going to do a little bit of what we're calling Endgame, I guess, tying into the MCU, sharing some of our favorite moments through the last 3.5 years of doing the show, favorite episodes, favorite memories, favorite movies we've talked about, and Sleepaway Camp.
Oh, that thing.
I knew that was the reaction. But gentlemen, we are not alone. We have some special guests that are going to be joining us on this show. They're there. They're hiding in ghostly fashion behind the scenes. Let's bring one of them in right now. He is the contributing writer to Coming Soon. He is one of the co-hosts alongside Brian of the Backlot Box Office. He is Derek Fearing.
Whoa, I'm on the screen.
Hey.
You are.
I like the fact he's sitting in the wings, and all I see in my screen is him hiding. I'm like, they can't see you hide there, Derek.
I know. I was having fun for those of us who can see us in the little windows. Keep us occupied. So there you go.
Derek, how the hell are you?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here one last time.
Yes, we are glad to have this. And I have a little something planned later that I feel is going to be Derek remembering all the things that we've done and answering all of my trivia questions that I came up with an hour after work. So should be fun.
Oh boy!
If anybody's going to answer him, it's going to be the living encyclopedia that is Derek.
And what is the exact opposite of an encyclopedia? He is our other guest. Charlie Eccles is here.
That's really why I'm here, is to correct everything that Charlie gets wrong again.
Yes,
so.
Dennis Villanueva is joining us here.
I'm still. Dennis. You know what?
What?
I'm only here to remind Casey that he's going to be at the bottom at the MCU, just like he started the show. So
no, we're on top now, boys. Where we're going to be.
Yeah, and Sam's so excited to be on top. Okay,
we're going to set our differences aside tonight, though, in celebration. Charlie, thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. I love you guys. I begrudgingly for you, Casey, but I love the other two. So
yeah, we done nothing wrong, Casey.
Yeah.
Hey,
we're wonderful people.
We'll see in the next couple weeks. We got time to make Charlie even more mad. Hopefully your tag team partner will maybe show up later, or both. Who knows? Maybe another surprise partner. You're full of surprises whenever you're on the show, Charlie. So
I do like mispronouncing directors' names. Sometimes I'll use the F word twice. So we have to put the E rating on a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And other times I'm lacking sleep because my child is 4 months old. So
yeah, blame your kid, Charlie.
Yeah, it's what we do. So
as I'll be bailing for a couple minutes to take care of mine.
Exactly, mine's sleeping. So anyway,
I can't relate.
I'm happy to be here, you guys.
I don't know what to say. I don't have that problem.
I do appreciate you guys coming on. I'm very excited to reminisce with you guys, and even with you, Casey, even with you.
Like I said, I will set our differences aside for one night and one night only. come May 14th, heads will roll, microphones will be smashed.
Those are
I don't know-
expensive.
I don't know what else.
I'm just imagining Casey just fuck this shit, throwing the microphone down.
That's one.
That's one, Charlie. Come on.
Oh, I'm sorry. See, this is what I'm brought on for.
Unacceptable.
Yep.
At
You're
least if heads are
unacceptable.
rolling, Charlie's will be the easiest.
See, now I'm down to one friend.
Sam, quick, make a joke.
Do something.
This is my shit. All the boys stomp your feet like this.
Just immediately goes to singing. Why?
Because he thinks Gwen
Kristen
Stefani's
Wiig.
the answer.
I mean, you're not far off, Sam. Boys, let's talk about some favorite moments then. All of us have had a long storied history of talking movies on podcasts and such. Charlie was a very early guest on the show. Not our first guest, surprisingly.
No, pretty close though.
You were pretty damn close.
Where was I? Was I like episode? I thought I wanted to say like episode like 9. I thought it was a little bit further in.
You were like in the first 20 for sure,
Okay.
being conservative.
Yeah.
I want to say you were
Definitely.
actually our second guest.
Was I?
Yes.
Are you
Um,
sure?
I
Dakota
think
would have been the first one.
he was not. Okay,
was
Charlie,
not.
you were the third guest then.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, I
Our-
mean, does it?
I'll go
It
through.
doesn't, but-
So Charlie's first episode was top 10 wrestlers that should have their own movie.
Mm-hmm.
Which I believe Ric Flair was your number one.
Of course.
I think. Does
Did
that
we
still
talk Star Wars at some point?
with Charlie?
Yeah.
We went to Star Wars with Charlie.
Back when we
Mm.
were friends.
You know, and you hated your now tag team partner when we did so. Charlie.
That's right. I can't live life without an enemy, apparently.
Our first guest was Chris Schlapkol. Is that how you pronounced Chris's last name? I always got that wrong. And then Dakota Vlotha was on, and then Charlie. So Charlie was number 3, very early on. So our not quite number 1, but top 3 ain't bad.
Didn't we do that because Fighting with My Family was coming out
Yeah.
at the time?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that was before pre-COVID.
It was
when
7
you
years
guys-
ago.
Wow.
Movie
That-
too.
yeah. Because pre-COVID, that's what you guys always had like a theme for the week of whatever movie was coming out.
Yep.
And now you've kind of chosen the monthly theme of like the big movie that's coming out. And I like that change that you guys have done.
Mhm.
So question for you guys then, what do you think that was like a natural progression that you guys were headed, or do you think COVID kind of showed your hand when it came to making the change of like a monthly theme versus a weekly?
I think the biggest thing is that with the reason COVID made us pivot the way it did is just simply because there's no movies for us to wrap our weekly discussion around. So we kind of said, okay, well, how do we still talk about stuff without nothing coming out?
And how can we get to a point where we don't have to watch 7 movies a week and we can just watch 1 instead?
That's
Yeah,
true too.
But COVID kind of was a blessing in disguise that way of kind of just narrowing it down to a full-blown discussion on a single movie, though. I think that was like a natural progression, like you said, Charlie, of
Mhm.
how the show was going. Of like, how many times can we talk about the same bunch of movies together without breaking it down into single movies?
Do you guys? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say that's kind of. Do you guys remember or know the answer? What was our first monthly series where we broke down a single movie each week during the month? Spoilers, 4 of us were on that series.
Was it the camp one? Was it the summer camp?
It was Summer Camp was our first
about to
series
say.
that we ever did.
That was when I started listening, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was when I started.
That's when Casey was like, "I need to see heavyweights."
That was pre-Sam being on?
It was pre-Sam, before we had met Sam, I think.
Really?
May of 2020.
Just before. Yep. Because it was very short. Well, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was something like that. It was the summer of 2020 that I met everybody.
That was a series of firsts during that. Andy Erickson had his first episode with us for heavyweights. Derek's first episode was with us.
One that Charlie was on too, Wet Hot American Summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great episode too. I think that might have been my first one I listened to.
That's hilarious. So I want to ask this question. I want to ask Derek first, from like not just like the contributing aspect, but like as somebody who listens probably more often than you're on. Did you have a particular month that you enjoyed more over than others?
Great question. I'm scrolling through. I had a liking toward the Kurt Russell month, partially because I'm the one who kind of pitched it, because I know Casey was like, we don't have a topic for November and we might have to do like animated movies or Jackie Chan movies. And I was like, well, the Christmas Chronicles 2 is coming out, so why not do Kurt Russell month? And that was wildly popular. So there you go. And also, I got a Used Cars Patreon episode out of the deal, so that helped too.
Like any reason to watch more Kurt Russell is a good reason to watch more Kurt Russell.
Yeah, props to both Derek and Blake for saying, okay, if you guys are doing Kurt Russell, you can do Big Trouble, you can do Sky High, but you have to do Used Cars at some point, somewhere, somehow.
I'm so glad, because that was one of those ones that was a blind spot for me, and I'm so glad I had an opportunity to finally sit down and actually have a reason to go watch that one.
Yeah.
What about the rest of you guys? Did you have a particular themed month, or even just like a particular episode prior to that you guys enjoyed the most?
I mean, selfishly, my favorite month is Monty Python month.
Because you're
100% selfishly, of doing the 4 big Python movies the whole month. Yeah, that is selfishly my favorite, just because Monty Python meant so much to me. Yeah, I don't know. Fincher month kind of stands out as another great one too.
I guess I don't necessarily know whether it would be like, say, my favorite or something, but one of the ones that comes to my mind is that when Hobbs and Shaw was coming out before all of this changed and whatnot, was, us talking about the Fast and Furious movies and everybody basically just going, Brian, this is all you. we're gonna mess, everything's all blending together. You help us sort it all out.
It was like our favorite moments of the series or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah,
because Andy was on that with us.
Yeah, that was with Andy.
I still don't know which movie they go to where.
I don't know. I guess mine might be like recency bias, but I really enjoyed talking Mel Brooks movies this last month. Mel Brooks is just one of my favorite filmmakers.
Dracula Dead and Loving It is one of my favorite episodes we've ever done. I think it was so good.
I was so excited to do this month in general just because I love Mel Brooks. But the biggest thing was I wanted Casey and Brian to finally sit down and watch Dracula Dead and Loving It, a movie that is very near and dear to my heart. I love it. And
I stand by the fact that thing is rated a lot lower than it needs to be.
Yeah. And I was worried because it's critically very reviled. And I didn't know where Casey and Brian would swing on that movie, and they both loved it. And we had a guest that was really enthusiastic about it, Shelby, and she just the whole episode was just a great conversation, not just about the movie, but about comedy and trends in it and the future, where it's going. And it was, I don't know. I haven't listened back to it because I don't listen back to like all our episodes, but that's one that I'll probably end up listening back to. Because it's a good one. It's a banger, as the kiddos say.
I was going to throw out there, did you guys want to spoil what you were going to cover the rest of the year? Or what you had on the schedule for future series?
Yeah.
I'll pull it up. Discuss amongst yourselves. I'll pull it up. I really don't. I know next month was Sam Raimi month in May.
Yep.
Yeah.
I do have the list here.
Okay, if you had the list, Derek, go ahead.
Yeah, May was Sam Raimi month. June was going to be the annual Pride series. July was going to be a skateboarding series, and there is an extensively detailed list of contenders on that one.
Yeah.
August was going to be Catherine Bigelow. September, John Woo. October, Halloween, Edgar Allan Poe. November, Michael Keaton, because I was going to be with The Flash until The Flash got delayed again.
Shucks.
And then De Palma December Part 2 to wrap out the year. So
Where
there
it
you
was
go.
just going to be 4 more episodes of us talking about Carrie.
with Ken on each episode, we break it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you guys
Yeah,
remember?
the De Palma month was really good too, though. I loved getting, because that was like a lot of blind spots for me, actually. I think there was only one movie that month that I had seen prior.
There was some weird shit in De Palma month.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the only one that I'd seen. Carrie was the only one that I'd seen prior. The rest of them were all first-time watches, and that was cool. That was incredible. So.
Eccles, what about you? What's been like something that stood out to you?
So I had two things that I wanted to point out. The first one, the surprising treat for me was Viola Davis month. I really enjoyed listening that month. I thought that was just head to toe some of the best movies you guys had talked about as far as a monthly theme.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of fun. But there was a very early episode that I remember particularly enjoying, and you guys did Stephen King, like just an episode of full Stephen King movies.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what was being released at the time, but was it
probably?
I think it was It Chapter. It was either It Chapter 2 or Pet Sematary. I want to say it was It Chapter 2.
Yeah.
Okay, and maybe and for whatever reason in my head, 1922 came into my head. But maybe that just kind of coincided.
About it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can't remember. I honestly can't remember, but that particular episode, very early on, I just remember really enjoying that particular episode, and not just for the ones that you would typically talk about, like Shawshank and Green Mile and that kind of thing. You guys had also thrown in, it's like Christine and Cujo and all the fun ones like that too. So
still think we should have gone over Running Man.
I wish I
the
would
Stephen
have
King
been on
movie
the
that's not a Stephen
episode,
King movie.
because I could have gone for days.
It was we still almost went on for days. That's like a 2
I
hour.
was about to say, I
plus
remember I went back
episode.
and listened to that one. It's a good episode, but it's long. Yeah.
It's long.
it is really long, and I remember I think it was particularly memorable for me because I think you guys got me through a good portion of a drive to Minneapolis. So but it was comforting because I enjoy Stephen King movies, and you guys always conversate very well, so it was fun to listen to.
I'm going to throw out a trivia question that goes with length of episodes. Derek knows this answer.
Yep, I do.
What is the longest episode that we've ever done? Spoilers, Derek knows because he's on.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not saying it. We'll get into
the Zodiac one, isn't it?
It is the Zodiac one. 2
I
hours.
remember.
2 hours and 52 minutes.
I was like, that was the one I was like, this thing is longer than the movie is.
Yeah, not because we went on long about the movie, but because we somehow decided that we were going to talk about every single bit of news from Disney Investor Day, which got us alone to the 2 hour mark.
Oh, yeah, I remember this. Yes.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the things where we're like, maybe we need to like adjust how we do the news.
Well, this was also like toward the genesis of Disney Plus. So, right at the beginning here.
So
what's that?
Disney Plus is already like on year 3.
At that point though, it had only been out for a little while, and they had announced like they had this series coming out, and this series coming out, and this series coming out, and this movie, and everything that Disney was putting out.
The MCU shows that we got this past year.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
we've kind of gone through the entire history of Disney Plus on this show. Our second episode ever was about them announcing Disney Plus.
That's funny.
Wow.
Yep, I remember that one.
Mhm.
All right, so what's going to happen? Obi-Wan Kenobi, the series is going to come out. It's going to break Disney Plus, and that's going to be over too. So we predicted it. We
I
brought
think
about
I-
the end of Disney Plus.
Not to get off on a tangent, but that is just going to be a busy week for me in terms of shit that's going to come up that I want to watch between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Stranger Things. I'm just saying.
Kenobi has my loyalty.
Yeah.
Kenobi's only going to have
I'm
me a couple
excited for
episodes.
Stranger Things, but oh my god, Kenobi's got me by the balls, man.
But that's where the difference is. That Stranger Things is going to get mass released, and you're
Yeah.
going to be able to binge the whole thing. And Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to be
It's only
weekly
for
released
seasons.
after the first.
I will be able to binge 60% of it.
Yeah. They're doing that
They're doing
stupid
the-
2-part release. We don't need to get into it. Everybody knows how I feel about it. Everybody in this room knows that I hate part 1, part 2 bull crap. So, we're just gonna
I'm
Get
a-
real
I'm
Back
a-
to weekly episodes.
I'm a full season behind on the show, so I really don't care about Stranger Things. Yeah, back to the show. Favorite live event moments, live show moments. I think this is we'll save one of them for when
Oh, where is he?
Brian comes back. But other ones that we should throw out. Welcome. We have our chat pulled up since we are live. John Runyon's in the chat. What's up, John?
Hey, John.
He this is what John said. We'll pull it up here. Oh man, I saw Charlie was in the mix, so I'm here to regulate.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, John. We appreciate it too. My second favorite team on the MCU show, by the way, A Comic Book Look. Just throwing that out there. I mean,
I'm not gonna lie, they're my favorite team. Like just name a team that's more good and pure than A Comic Book Look. Yeah,
Well,
see?
yeah, but they have Tom. They have Tom on their team. So I don't
I was
know.
gonna say
Tom
it's
is a pure soul.
Sure, Sam.
I love you, Comic Book Look. I'm excited for you to win too. I'm just gonna roll over and play dead for you guys.
John's trying to talk some smack here, saying that he's ready to win.
All right, good. As we're about to get into this question, Brian has returned.
What I miss? What I miss?
We were just about to talk about our
favorite live show moments.
yes.
What's
Oh,
your favorite
easily.
live show moment?
Oh,
Brian?
that's easy. That isn't even a question. That is Derek stopping everything and telling Charlie how to correctly pronounce Denny's name.
Why don't you try pronouncing it right now, Brian?
I blame my children and having to put them to bed.
Do it.
My favorite live show moment is when I almost gave Andy Heller a coronary playing Baby's Day Out at number 20 on our 90s comedy countdown.
Hey.
Far and away is the most, like, oh my God, I thought he was going to, like, his face turned beet red. His voice was loud even for Andy. Like, I thought he was going to tear my head off. I thought he was going to pop my head off like a fucking Barbie doll, man. Like, yeah, it was great. Andy, where are you? I love you.
I will say this: there's one silver lining to the reason why I appreciated that moment, because after you played Baby's Day Out, nobody was giving me shit about Sound City.
So speaking of Sound City,
Yeah, we're going there.
Sam at least played his hot take at number 20.
Hey, you know what?
Sound City is the number. Sound City is the number
fact that
2
you vetoed
movie.
me right out of the gate, and I used it to my advantage. You can't fault me for taking advantage of the fact that you vetoed me at like number 18. You wasted your veto way too early.
No,
Casey,
I
you
still,
always blow your veto too soon. Okay.
No, I still stand by my veto on Anna and the Apocalypse.
That's why Casey can never be on the bottom.
You are a premature veto-lator.
You remember who you have on your team. I'm going to veto Charlie probably in his first pick just because.
No, you're not. That's why I get the veto card, because I veto where it counts in the top 5.
Listen, we all make mistakes when we did these shows. Some of us play Baby's Day Out. Some of us play Sound City.
Mistake.
Some of us play Night at the Roxbury. Things happen. It's okay.
Higher than Baby's Day Out, by the way.
Because it's better than Baby's Day Out, Sam.
It's not. It's not. It's so much worse.
And some of us forget to play Nightmare on Elm Street after they say Freddy's going to make
Yeah.
a certain list. But anywho.
Yeah, how does Freddy not end up on a horror list?
I blame
Yeah,
everybody
Casey.
else. I played
How
Michael.
could you blame me?
I played Michael. I played Jason.
I told you I wasn't going to play any of them.
I might have even played Leatherface too. I don't remember.
Wait, you didn't. Someone did.
Someone did. I don't know. I don't remember that one.
I'm just saying, you cannot have. No, he tries to put this on me because I played The Shining at number 2. If there is not, I'm sorry, you cannot have a 1980s horror list without the movie that literally rang in the decade in stellar fashion. The Shining is one of the greatest American horror movies ever made, and I stand by that number 2 pick. Just because you had to pick between your favorite children, Casey, doesn't mean diddly shit.
I mean,
Woo!
Casey, he is making kind of a valid point, right?
You aren't wrong. I'm not going to deny that.
And The Shining is the bomb.
The Shining is the bomb. Just to defend myself, that one feels 70s more than 80s, but whatever. I blame all 4 of us for not getting Freddy Krueger on that list. I don't even remember who was on that show.
I picked 5 stellar picks.
Derek, were you hosting that one?
I was, yes.
Okay.
And
That's what I thought.
you were on, and you were at SuperCon HQ, peeking in on us.
That's right. We did it for SuperCon, didn't we?
And
I forgot about that.
I was sitting in the back, knowing I was not qualified for that top 20 list.
Were you not on that one, Brian?
You, me,
No.
He was
Blake, and Andy. Yeah.
I was gonna say that might have been the only episode that had everyone that's typically involved, Andy included. So I was at SuperCon, Derek was hosting, Brian was doing the tech stuff, and then the rest of you guys were all playing. Mm-hmm. That might have been the only episode that all of us had some kind of weird role playing into that episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Corey and Lou were there.
And Corey was yelling at us.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly there's reasons for him to be yelling at you guys.
No,
that's awesome.
Shopping Mall deserved to be at number 8. Shopping Mall is a masterpiece, okay?
Things happen. We all make mistakes. Chopping Mall was not one of them.
Hey, after the fact that I was watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I had Chopping Mall come up more than one time makes me actually question why I haven't seen this movie yet.
I question that every day, Brian. Go watch it. What are you doing here?
Pause this. We're going to go watch Chopping Mall all together.
We'll all be right back.
Surprise, this is a live stream of Chopping Mall.
You're welcome.
Live commentary.
You're welcome. Do you guys remember what our first live show was?
Yes.
That's the decade?
It was not.
Whoa.
Our first live one was at SuperCon in 2019.
Oh, yeah.
Where we did I think it was a superhero movie bracket with us,
with
Wednesday. And Brian, Wednesday Comics, and Andy, I think, was on it too.
I know why I didn't remember that one off top, because that's the one I had to miss because I had to work at 4:00 the next morning.
Who the heck was on it? Oh, maybe with Blake?
No, Andy was.
Yeah, I got it pulled up in the feed. It's Andy and the guys from Wednesday Comics.
Okay.
Yeah, and Casey. I think it was just the 5 of you guys. Yeah.
I was sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that one, the reason I didn't think about that one as the live show is because you guys didn't stream that one. It was recorded live, but it wasn't streamed the way that you guys typically do the live shows now.
That was the first moments I knew Marvin was a wild card by wanting to have Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance on this top 16 bracket of comic book movies ever. We love you, Melvin.
That was a fun night.
That was fun. And then our next one was the top 20 of the decade at the last stop.
Yeah.
And then the world ended.
The
Do you guys
the comic
remember?
book movie bracket was the first time that Andy and I ever met, and I yelled at him.
Was that we were all? This was during the Billy Gunn thing, right?
Yeah, because he kept coming on and calling out Billy Gunn, and I had not met Andy until the moment I walked in to watch that show that night.
And you yelled at him.
And I yelled at him, and now he's one of my closest friends. Yes.
Mr. Ass bringing friends together.
That's right. Because Billy Gunn decided to watch his son wrestle instead of come to your guys' live show. Wrong choice, Billy.
Wrong choice. Especially
wrong choice.
Now seeing the Ass Boys on TV, he made the wrong choice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys remember what happened the day we did the Last Stop show?
Kobe died.
Kobe died that day. We knew something was amiss when we did that show.
All I know is I remember we were prepping to get ready and get started for that show because that was January 20th.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember seeing the news. I was like, if this is not real, this is some messed up shit. Because I was like, that is just, I mean, I'm not even a sports guy. And I was like, no. And I remember showing that to Blake, and just all of us are like,
that's crazy. I didn't realize that was the same day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because I remember I literally bad reception in the bottom of in the White Wall Sessions room of Last Stop, and like what few things was actually coming through the walls to my phone. I'm like, this is what I'm getting. This can't be real.
Mm-hmm.
And then the world ended 2 months later. So
yeah, it wasn't long after that.
No, 2020 was weird.
Well, after the best of the decade, I was the director of SuperCon at that time, and I had that same night that we did the best of the decade countdown, I had asked Last Stop if we could use Whitewall to record all of SuperCon's promo videos, and we had this whole big plan of how we were going to promote SuperCon through video. And Andy was going to be our big spokesperson, with him being the ball of energy that Andy is. And I was so excited about everything. And it was a week after everything started kind of getting announced that we were in an official pandemic. We filmed our first kind of round of promo stuff, and we never ever got to use any of it. We had one promo actually get finished at White Wall for SuperCon that year, and we never got to finish anything else.
Where is this unreleased footage? We need to see the rough cuts.
I honestly don't know where it might be, but yeah, it's just Andy talking.
Oh, right now to share with all of us.
Who shot? Was Dominic? Maybe they have it yet.
No, it was
It was that young kid that was going to be doing the YouTube stuff for us, wasn't it?
Yeah, nobody that's ever been associated with any of us here. He did wrestling video stuff, and he knew how to edit, and he also wanted to do it for free. So it was, but I think we ended up sitting there for like 3 hours shooting promo stuff. And it was really heartbreaking because there was a great joke about how because that year was the 5th year of SuperCon, so we were just going to call it SuperCon Volume 5. And Andy threw in a really great joke about how we should have called it SuperCon 5: The Dream Child. So,
Andy, where are you?
I know, right?
Where is the ending?
Come on, Andy. Speaking of Andy, let's get. I'll pull up the other one. Do you guys remember Andy's first episode?
No.
Mm-mm.
I was on a few episodes, so they blend a little. They're like Fast and Furious movies for you. They blend together for me.
Speaking of Fast and Furious, movies about cults was Andy's first one.
Oh. What movies got brought up for that one?
Yeah.
I think it was Midsummer was coming out. I remember that's why we were doing
Okay.
it.
Yes.
Okay.
What movies? I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah, I don't recall that.
Yeah. Maybe Andy will
Don't
know.
recall that at all.
Mm-hmm. Movies
I remember
about
seeing a lot
cults.
more of Blake early on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Do you want to know Blake's first episode?
I do want to know Blake's first episode.
Blake's first episode was favorite remakes.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you he brought up the Blob.
I don't think so.
Really?
King Kong was the one I remember him bringing up.
King
Yeah.
Kong is great. Yeah. I remember when we did our creature feature killer countdown, that was one that I was debating whether to put on. And then one of us ended up playing it, and both of us were like just surprised that we had that in common, that we loved that so much. Because, yeah, the 05 King Kong is a masterpiece, man. It's so good.
The Killer Countdown creature feature that we recorded in Blake's car in the middle of
In
summer
Blake's
with
very hot car.
no air conditioning on. Yeah.
That sounds like a great way to be recording a podcast. Why on earth did you do that?
Because the air
Because we were
conditioner
going
was
to
loud.
Dancing Spider.
Oh my
And
gosh.
that was like the only time we were going to be able to get together. So we decided to record it in the car before Dancing Spider. But we couldn't have the AC on because there was too much, feedback in the mics. So we turned the AC off.
So we
And
started
there were people
sweating
out walking
together.
around, so we couldn't have the windows down either. So we have the windows rolled up, and we're just like hot boxing. It's like a fucking sauna in there.
And there's two.
There's the other one, Sam.
Damn it, Sam.
Hey, when one happens, the other one's off the table. Okay, Charlie
Well,
opened the floodgate. I'm not gonna hold my tongue anymore.
We've officially
Yeah,
used the
I'll
Adventures of
accept that.
Babysitting F clause.
Sam, what was your first episode?
That's very easy for me. Well, okay. Are we just talking main channel? Not Killer Countdown? Okay. Then it was Candyman. It was your 100th episode.
The Candyman can.
But before that, I went on Killer Countdown, and the first episode I did was just a news episode. And the big thing was that they were rebooting Evil Dead again. That was the big news story that we all talked about.
Clearly that happened.
And then we threw you to the wolves the next time.
Yeah.
Made you host an episode.
Yeah, then I hosted the next episode because Blake couldn't, and I talked into the wrong side of my mic the entire time. So you can't even hear me on that recording. Yeah, and then after
he's
that,
like, I did it on
all the
purpose.
time. Yeah, well, I don't know.
Did we ever
Pulled up the
figure out
mic.
what your first hosting episode was on the main show? I, for the life of me, cannot
I
think
think
of what
the
it is.
visit was like our test run, because that was before I was technically like a host, but you guys already had a guest, but you were like, you like this movie, why don't you just come on and co-host with us? So I was like, okay. So that's kind of the first one. But then I think the first that I was officially on as a host was one with Eccles. I think it was Unbreakable.
I was going to say,
When we moved
yeah.
from-
It is.
when we moved from Shyamalan into non-comic book superhero. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what was your first one?
Officially Unbreakable, but
Okay.
unofficially The Visit. So
That was our twist.
yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
We announced it with a screenshot from Basketball. You dicks.
That's right.
So I want to ask another question from all four of you guys. Is there a movie or topic that you have not covered that you did want to cover?
Charlie,
That
you
you
should
wish
have
you
listened to
would've.
our Patreon.
I
Okay.
I just need both of these clowns to watch Jennifer's Body and talk to me at length about it. That's what I want. That's all I want. So whether we have a podcast or not, it's gonna happen, guys. I'm just gonna tie you up in my theater room and make you watch it Clockwork Orange style.
What a twist.
Yeah.
One day I'll get around. One day I will get around to that movie because I genuinely actually kind of want to see that movie.
It's so good.
You won't have to Clockwork Orange me to watch that. So
Mine was Evil Dead, like was my go-to, and I mean we've talked about Evil Dead a million times elsewhere and other things, but one director I was surprised we never talked about even in a single episode was Spielberg.
right.
Yeah.
So I think that was
Weird.
a big miss.
Yeah.
That guy. You ever heard of him, Charlie? Steven?
That
No.
that little indie guy.
Is it pronounced Spielberg?
Stefan.
Yeah, it's Steven Spielberg.
Stefan
Spiel.
Spielberg?
I'm not gonna do
Spielberg.
it. I'm not gonna do it.
Hey, I earned all of Derek's shit that day. I will 100%
I was
own
just
up
flinging
to
it
being
at you, man.
I had legitimately never heard it pronounced out loud. I did whatever I could. I've seen it written a few times. I'm not an awards movie watcher or like an awards watcher, so I had never actually heard the name. I maybe should have asked.
In all fairness to Charlie, if I had never heard it either, the way it is spelled is Dennis Villanueva.
Now,
That's how it's spelled.
in unfairness to Charlie, he should have asked. So,
I have a question for you, Charlie.
yes.
You've done phone work before. As like a job. You've done phone work before, right?
Phone. Yeah, I thought you said
Yeah.
film work, and I was
No,
like, I was
phone
in
work,
one
phone
commercial.
Phone work. So like you and I have that similar background in that we've done phone work before.
Yes.
Or whatnot. One of the things that I do on a regular basis is know how to pronounce a person's name before I ask them or before I start talking to them. So you should have been asking.
But I wasn't talking to him face to face.
Dennis was there. He was listening.
Yeah.
He was watching.
I mean,
Mr.
Dennis,
Villanueva.
what's your name? How
he
do
knew.
you say it?
now, highlight of that awards is that we did get a response from James Gunn.
yes.
Yes.
Because of that. That was really cool.
I was still wondering whether or not Casey sent James Gunn his schmucky.
You should legitimately mail him the thumbs up
Let's
and
just
put
say,
the award that he won.
I don't think he's giving out his address, but
No, but you can send it to his
Because
agent.
if he did, I would literally be sending him spec scripts all the time. Just
well,
being
that's
like,
yeah.
what do you think? Can I please? Like, will you give me money to make this? Will you make this?
Yeah, we had.
Guys,
I mean,
had
that
a
was.
dream one time.
I mean, that's probably our big. I'm gonna pause Sam here completely.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah. Pause me. Pause me.
And I'm not hitting unpause on it either.
Yes, you are.
James Gunn was probably the biggest person to interact with our show, but that's kind of another
Yeah.
question I wanted to ask everyone. Like, who has been like your favorite for Sam and Brian? Who's been your favorite like celebrity to chat with on the show? And Derek and Charlie, who's been your favorite guest to listen to on the show, whether locally or otherwise?
I think far and away, I think interviewing Caroline Williams was maybe the
kinda
coolest
saw that
thing.
coming.
Like,
I kind of saw that coming. From
it's the
Sam.
obvious answer, but honest to God, like, I mean, Casey, you and I were the only ones on that call when she left, and like, I couldn't move for a minute. Like, my heart was beating out of my chest. I was like red in the face. I was trying really hard not to scream until I knew that she was off of the call. And then as soon as she was, I was like, what just happened? Ah! and just like all over the place, man. Like that was insane. We got to talk to one of like the big scream queens from one of the big 80s slashers. I don't know. It was just cool. Like she literally, like she follows us and shit now. Like yeah, it's nuts. It blew my mind. It was the coolest thing.
I will say everyone we've had on this show has been super, super cool. Like, and I love that we've had like so many repeating guests too. Like, I don't know. So, like Caroline Williams was a ton of fun, obviously, for like being a fan of hers. Having Clay Keller on just because I listened to Screen Drafts. Having him on for Signs was a ton of fun. To have a fellow movie podcaster that I listen to almost every week on the show was really fun.
Yeah,
that'd be my pick, I guess, off the top of my head.
I do think what was also fun too is when we had an opportunity to talk to Jill Six for The Stylist too.
Yeah, Jill is cool. Every interview we've done has been a ton of fun.
Yeah.
What about
Charlie? Are you fishing for you're the best guest? Is that what this?
No,
space
no,
is?
not at all. Not at all. At all.
He's
No,
totally
no,
like,
no.
My favorite
top
episode was everyone that Charlie was on.
Because it was the first time you hosted. We know where you're going, Sam.
Sam is just trying to suck up because I clearly got myself taken off the list.
What?
You said that your only friend here left was Sam.
Well, yeah, for right now.
Yeah.
He is accusing me of narcissism. So.
Take him off the list.
Charlie, I don't think he was accusing.
You know, I honestly, like, one particular interview is not coming to mind, if I'm being honest. I think the thing that I've enjoyed the most about your guys' show is having heard a lot of the earlier episodes, how you guys kind of built the chemistry you have between one another, and where you guys were at the beginning, and you know, with adding the crew of people that you've added and having those recurring guests and stuff like that, just kind of hearing that evolution of you guys, because I think I'm at a point now in your guys' show that it doesn't matter who the guest is that I want to listen to, because I know you guys are going to put on an interesting interview, no matter who it is, or at least having an interesting conversation, even if it's not necessarily a movie that I have watched. I think that you guys are always going to carry that conversation. So,
Derek, what about you?
If Dracula Dead and Loving is a prime example of that right there.
Yeah.
We talked about more horror comedy, and I think we did the actual movie itself.
Yeah, I'm just looking through the list here to see who else has been interviewed here, because I know the first interview I see was with my old college buddy Andrew Keitlinger, promoting Tater Tot and Patton back in the day. But also
fun movie too. I remember seeing that at the State. That was a blast.
You should have been in Casey and I's shoes when we saw it at the Cinedome.
No, you shouldn't have. You shouldn't have, Sam. No, you shouldn't have.
That was a good movie, not a good venue. Oh, that was painful.
So glad we rewatched it at the State.
Yes,
that's the place to watch it.
Because yes, Andrew put together a great movie. Oh, the Cinedome. Oh my goodness, that hurt.
To Charlie's point though, of what you were saying, how we've progressed. I don't know if I can go back and listen to the interview with Andrew, because I was a nervous wreck trying to interview someone for the first time.
I think when we were literally two schmucks in a basement still trying to figure this shit out. I mean, come on, we lost an entire episode. We recorded for 2 hours for nothing.
That's true. I don't even remember what that episode was about. I really don't.
I don't either. I just remember it was episode 4, because the next episode was episode 5. What happened to episode 4?
I don't know. I don't know what happened. We don't know. It's gone. It's out in the ether. It's never coming back. We will never know.
Somewhere on your laptop in some data something.
It's gone. It's not here anymore. But know what? Who is here?
Who's here?
Andy's here.
Andy!
Andrew Keller.
Andy?
Other way, Andy.
Andy?
The best part about that is no, the other way, Andy.
It's like the Brady Bunch up in here.
Huh? Huh? Oh wait, I gotta look this.
Oh, Andy, your microphone's not working. We can't hear you. No, we cannot.
Oh.
He still cannot hear you.
He has been silenced.
You can't silence Andy. I'll talk for him. Just move your mouth. Just move your mouth. Just see, Casey
What
sucks.
is up,
Casey
everybody?
sucks. Casey sucks. Casey sucks. See, one time,
I didn't catch
one
that.
time.
What was the last one, Andy?
I don't know. He's singing the Fugees, I think.
There he is. There he is.
Oh man!
There it is. All right.
Joining
Listen,
us from the
listen.
WCW Monday Night Nitro Arena.
I didn't change my background from when I did a run-in on your guys' show. So apparently I'm still in run-in mode.
You're still stuck in 1998.
Listen, I gotta tell you, for the first time ever, I had I'm coming right off of a recording session, and for the first time ever, I had massive technical difficulties. My computer shut down mid-episode. Then I went back in and couldn't get my microphone or camera to work. And then I finally, like 30 minutes later, I was able to get back in and was able to finish up talking with the guys. And they're like, we gotta go. I'm like, okay, I'll make this real fast. So it only took me almost 200 episodes to get to it, but I had huge technical difficulties. Hey guys,
Hey, Andy.
what's up,
Hey.
Backlot?
How's it going?
It's going better now. It's going better now,
Yeah.
Now that his mic's working.
right?
Mm.
Andy,
Yeah,
let me ask you this, because we
Yeah.
were all kind of stumped on this. We know what your first episode was with us.
What was
You
my
remem-
first episode?
It was movies about cults.
Oh yeah,
Do you
yeah,
remember
yeah.
what movies we talked about though?
So
Because Midsummer
the
was coming
initiation.
out.
I think the initiation. Shoot, movies. Did we talk about? Oh my God, what is that?
I think we talked about The Sacrament.
The Sacrament sounds about right. That's one that I really enjoy. Man, I can't even
We
think of the
talked about
filmmaker's name.
The Wicker Man? Did we talk about
I-
the OG Wicker Man?
I don't think so,
I don't
because
think
I
we
have
did.
never seen that one.
Did you guys bring up
Gosh.
The Master? Like, does that fall under that?
I think we did.
Yeah, we probably did, because I love that movie.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
wouldn't be surprised if we brought that up.
It's not,
Um,
but it's not about cults, Charlie. We're not going to assume.
What's the
Yeah.
one? I don't think we talked about it, but what's the one by Ben Wheatley?
The Ritual? Or wait, no.
No. Shoot. It's like I don't remember. I think it has kill in the title, but I'm probably way wrong.
Kill list?
Huh.
Yes. I don't think we talked about that one, but if we were to go back and redo that episode today, kill list would be included, because
Did we even talk about movies on it? I don't even remember.
I don't
At
know.
this point right now, I don't
struggling.
remember.
We're
Who
struggling.
knows? Who knows?
All right, real talk. Who's your best friend from the show, Andy?
Guys, you can't do that. You can't. I can't pick one above everybody else.
Mute.
Sam.
He's just being nice to you all.
I was gonna say, let me help you out. All right, there we go. Now we're all mixed up.
That's
Oh,
the worst.
Casey did that so we could be on top again.
There.
Oh,
I'm on
Casey's on bottom.
I'm on bottom with Charlie and Andy.
Yeah. This is an
Casey
awesome
clicking on
gag for a
buttons when some of us
podcast.
also have access to the same buttons.
Andy, what other questions do we ask? I don't even remember.
Favorite
What did we-
moments?
Favorite
moments?
live show moment.
Oh,
We were just asking though. Who's been your favorite guest on the show?
oh
that
man.
that we've brought on.
That's
not
tough.
Not named Charlie Eccles.
Well, here's the thing that I think that I really like about your show and the guests that you've been able to get on there is because you've had a real cross section of people, like, and it's been a lot of fun just to hear different people tell their stories. Like, it's also hard to ever say anyone other than Dave Hawley, just because I feel like I could listen to Dave Hawley talk about anything all the time.
For sure.
Like,
Yep.
he's just this smooth velvet like enthusiastic guy. And even if he talked about a movie that I hated, like if he's like, I'm gonna tell you why Roma is the greatest movie of all time, I'll be like, Dave, you're not gonna watch Roma. Like, first off, you're not gonna like that. It's really boring. But go ahead, Dave, I'll listen to you. And he'll be like, this is a silky smooth motion picture. And I'll be like, you know what, Dave, you're right. I completely agree. Also, shout out to my terrible Dave Hawley impression. But yeah, like, back to what I was saying, it's everybody is great to listen to. Like, and I know that's a cop out of an answer, but I think what your show does is the same thing that I'm kind of trying to gun for with my show. It's like, you want to hear people get to hear all these different people talk about this thing that they're so passionate about, and just kind of get to meet them where they're at and hearing about their love of movies. So it's like, anybody you get on, there's an interesting story to be had there. And I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's a lot of fun when the interview goes off the rails a little bit. I think that's always fun to listen to. But
Or
at the same time, a lot of it.
A favorite moment of the show for me is when the show did literally go off the rails about a train movie, when we had Mr. Andy Grody on and started his portion by blowing on a wooden train whistle.
Yeah, I remember that. But then
He was trying to spook his dog when he did that.
I don't know what Grody was doing then.
Yeah.
I love Andy Grody so much.
He's so great.
But then too, like, you can say anybody, but then it's sad in a way that one of your guys' best episodes that you've ever done, and this is not a knock to you guys, but just how into the conversation everybody was the last episode with a guest. Like, just the way that you were in tune, and Shelby was just bringing her A game. Like, that's what you guys have worked for this whole time, to have those kind of shows. And it's like, well, you guys got it. Why are you leaving?
We're going out on top.
That's right. That's
undefeated.
right.
We're going out with Dracula Dead and Loving It, baby.
Casey's going out on bottom.
Listen, the movie that you guys talked about doesn't count. It was the conversation that you had around.
Right. Well, and that's what I said. I think we talked more about a horror comedy than we actually did the movie.
Best one. I'm sorry, Dracula Dead and Loving It might be the best one that we've ever talked about on this podcast.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It was my favorite. I will say it was my favorite movie of this past month. So.
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
Yeah.
I love Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Andy, favorite series that we've ever done? I know that all of us, besides Sam, because we hadn't met Sam yet, all of us were part of our first series, Summer Camp Movies, because Andy was on our Sleepaway Camp episode.
Here's the thing that I also really enjoy about your show. I feel like I have done a series of episodes where Brian has been like, why am I on this show? Like, I feel like I have selected movies that Brian is just like, I'm here. This is great. Way to go.
Yeah, that one.
Andy...
And the best part about that one, though, it just simply was, it's like, okay, now you're gonna have to record yourself. We want to know what the expression on your face is when you get into those last 5 minutes of that movie. And again, I'm watching this on like 4 hours of sleep after having been up for like 18 hours. I get to the end of the movie and I remember recording myself and just looking at my phone, looking at the camera, going, "Really? This is what you put me through?" And you guys were so disappointed in my lack of response to that movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't your lack of response; it was your lack of respect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Brian's just like,
You,
Brian-
Charlie.
Respect the dong. Respect the dong.
Brian's just like, I see one of those every day when I wake up.
No big
Well,
deal.
and how long ago did we do that episode?
So
That was May of 2020.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2020.
Okay. So at that point right now, I'm dealing with 5-year-olds who I'm trying to probably still get out of, shitting themselves. So,
So then what's your
something like that
Phantom
is
of the
like-
Paradise excuse, Brian?
I was about to say, Andy, isn't it Phantom of the Paradise? That was your diploma pick, wasn't it?
that was his diploma pick. That was
I
me
love that
watching that
movie.
movie going, what on earth is
Awesome.
That movie,
Andy
that movie
smoking?
rips.
Yeah.
So
That
great.
movie rips.
So great.
Phantom of the Paradise rules.
Yeah. Yeah. I liked being able to kind of pick movies that were a little like not like super out there, but like I don't know. I always feel like I kind of have this, Derek and I do Criterion Break. So I feel like there's a sense that I'm gonna pick something that's like, oh, he's gonna pick some artsy movie. No, I want
You want Sleepaway Camp?
I want weird ones. I want Sleepaway Camp. I want Phantom of the Paradise. I had the whole weekend to myself to kind of pick and choose what movies I could watch, and I ended up watching Anthropophagus with Billy Bob and Frankenhooker.
Joe Bob, come on.
Joe
Be
Bob.
nice
Joe Bob.
to Joe Bob.
Oh
There's
my
no Billy
God.
Bob.
I fell asleep before all the carnage happened in Anthropophagus, so
There
I'm
wasn't
gonna
much
go
carnage.
back and rewatch
Yeah,
that.
I couldn't stay up and watch that, Andy. More power.
But
to you.
yeah,
it was not good.
I was so dog tired.
Yeah.
Andy, I
Ah.
saw that you gave Frankenhooker 3 stars. I also saw that you said, "I wish this was a better movie or it wasn't a good movie." I take umbrage. I don't agree.
I gave it a 3. That's fine.
It's a good movie,
3 is a
though. It's a
positive
good
rating.
movie.
For me, that's good. It's like, oh, this
It's
is fine.
passable.
Yeah.
It's like you and Blake with that 3 stars. Like Blake's review was like, "But imagine if this was actually wild." I'm like, how much crazier do you want it to get? Like 8 hookers explode in the middle of it. Like what?
They do. They did have hookers explode in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Hooker mannequins blowing up.
And that statement explains who Sam Lenz is to a
Yes,
T.
it does.
Yo.
I love that
Yeah.
movie. Frankenhooker's a jam. Everybody should watch it.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It was dumb, but it was fun. So, you guys also said that you were talking about like best live show moments. Did you guys ask that too, or is that something we're getting to?
Yes. Do you want to know what mine was?
Yeah, what was yours?
It was when I almost killed you by playing Baby's Day Out.
There are 2 moments of live shows that have like okay, so I'm gonna drop some history here. So I have a condition called atrial fibrillation. That's where your heart beats out of rhythm, typically caused by a high blood pressure. I have had 2 moments in live shows where my blood pressure has been raised, where I've been like, I got to keep this heart in check. The first, of course, was Sam picking Baby's Day Out as one of the best comedies of the 1990s, and then
It is. It's one of
center
the best.
center top, Brian Mensing picking Sound City as the number 2 best movie.
And you know what? We brought that up earlier, and I said that was my response to Casey vetoing me so early. I'm like, fine, I'm gonna play this close to the hip, and as people, and then once everybody starts vetoing Casey with this whole like swing, Sing Street and all that stuff and everything like that was going on, I'm like, I'm using it because I got Corey over there on my side going, I'll allow it.
I blame Blake for all that anarchy of you guys vetoing me 2 times
Listen,
in a row.
I think Corey was partially intoxicated during that because he was just allowing anything. But I do blame myself a little bit because I think I used a veto on Casey as well, just beforehand.
Casey got vetoed twice at number 3.
Did I veto Creed 2?
You vetoed Creed 2. I shouldn't have played Creed 2. I blame
It's
myself for trying to get back at Blake.
That was
it's
a
basically
revenge
Casey's
pick.
fault.
So,
yeah.
We're all to blame.
Yeah. It's that one thing we look back on. But I think every list probably has one movie or a placement where you look at it and you're like, what did we do? how did we screw this up so badly? Because the 1980s horror countdown doesn't have a Nightmare on Elm Street movie on.
Yes.
Yeah, you missed
that got
me
brought up.
obliterating Casey over that point because he tries to blame everybody else, and I have laid out the case in as simple terms as it can be that it's his fucking fault. Okay,
I'm telling you, there's 4 people playing a game. There's 20 picks.
Yeah,
and
I wasn't the only one that
The
did not pick
Shining
Nightmare.
is one of the greatest movies to ever be made, and it was made in 1980, and it ushered in a decade of great horror, and it deserved its number 2 spot. And to reiterate what I said, just because you had to pick between your 2 favorite children of Evil Dead 2 and NOES 3 doesn't mean that it's anybody else's fault but yours.
I mean, you did play Chopping Mall in the top 10, Sam.
Yeah, and it belonged there.
All right. Anyway, Andy.
In the Chopping Mall deserves an 11 through 20. Yeah, I would say it's a 15 through 20 pick. Chopping Mall's great.
Was perfect at 8.
I want
to bring up a dark horse moment from those live shows because we brought up Andy almost having a heart attack. I want to talk about how Sam almost had a heart attack at Blake playing Natural Born Killers. On the same.
It's not a comedy. It's not comedy.
It is. It's pretty funny.
Got a laugh track.
Did I almost? I can't remember. Did I almost cry during the Pixar draft? I feel like I almost cried during the Pixar, which is not out of character.
Did.
Yeah, it's not out of character.
We had a cry counter.
Yeah,
we had a cry erase.
That's
board.
right.
Yeah. That's right.
Mm-hmm. What did I want to go back to? Oh yeah, I'm gonna make a hot take on the show, because what would your show be, even on the last episode, without a hot take? So after we've gotten the opportunity to sit through a theatrical screening of the number 1 horror film of the 1980s, Evil Dead 2, let me say, Nightmare on Elm Street should have been number 1. Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street holds up way better than Evil Dead 2.
I respect your opinion.
I did want to quickly throw in my favorite live show moment, simply because we haven't talked about it yet, which is Sam Lenz freaking out during the first Schmuckies live show as Travis Nye's ready and willing assistant. Truly the pinnacle of doing these things live and being able to have magic moments like that for everybody to experience. So,
I will just say, just to quickly go back to the 80s one, Andy, you wouldn't have gotten your pick anyway if you guys would have vetoed Evil Dead 2.
No, I know. What would you have played instead?
You would have gotten a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. It just went to be the first one.
Probably 3.
3.
Yeah, that's okay. After watching Evil Dead 2 again, I'm okay with Nightmare on Elm Street 3 being number 1. I don't know. I don't know why I wasn't feeling it. I don't know why I wasn't feeling it, but I was. It was fun to be there with you guys. It just, I was sitting there like, oh, this isn't better than the first Evil Dead. What?
Andy hates exploding hookers and decapitated women with chainsaws.
I was like, is Army of Darkness my favorite? It might be.
Oh.
Oh my God, Sam, I love you so much. Oh, Sam, I'm gonna go. So this is the final episode. Sam, you're adorable. I gotta give you that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I should probably ask Derek and Charlie, since I'm kind of on here a little bit late and missed a lot, as kind of like non-hosts of the show. Did you guys have an opportunity to like really kiss their ass already, or is that something that we're saving for the end?
Oh God, don't do that.
We have not kissed their ass yet. No.
Oh,
It's
No, but
coming.
okay.
Get my tongue ready.
All right. Well, then I'll hold out. I'll hold out.
You know that club Vince
before I do that.
McMahon has? Yeah, I'm starting my own.
I don't get that.
Sam, you need to watch wrestling. There is a kiss my ass club.
Oh, Sam.
You would
Sam,
love
Sam, one wrestler. I'm just gonna throw this out there, just because you're the horror guy, or one of the horror guys that I know. Look up Danhausen.
it. I have sent him Danhausen.
You need to
I
watch some
actually-
Danhausen.
I see Danhausen pop up on my Twitter all the time, and so yeah, I feel like that's probably going to be my gateway.
He's just right up your alley. Like, he really is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll check him out.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, please check it out. I mean, the other day I went through the entire history of Edge and Christian and how they were vampires who are no longer vampires, who hang out with a man who lives in the jungle with his human dinosaur hybrid.
Sam, wrestling is the best.
Wrestling's weird.
It really
That
is.
was awesome, actually.
There's literally Luke Perry's son is in a loincloth. There's your in.
And he hangs out. He's the one that hangs out with the human dinosaur hybrid.
He is.
Wonderful.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Got it. Anyway.
Okay. Trivia questions. I got a couple more. I guess one because it's wrestling related. Charlie, you might know this one. What 2 movies did we do audio commentary for on the show?
I remember at least one.
Well,
One
one of them is Ready to Rumble.
One involves the arena right behind Andy.
Hmm.
Okay.
These
What was the second one?
aren't your live screenings, were they? No.
These are actual episodes.
Oh.
Mhm.
I know the other one. I'm just waiting to see if anybody else.
I can't remember
You
the other
fighting
one.
with my family one.
No. Me and Brian did A Christmas Story.
That's right.
Oh. Very nice.
Yep. So A Christmas Story and Ready to Rumble audio commentaries.
Both
Truly
amazing Christmas music movies.
Yep.
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 I forgot about the Christmas Story one.
But you
My
did.
family watch Ready to Rumble every Christmas.
You did
Yeah.
The Haunting of Hill House and Dementia 13 as live kind of
Watch
where you-
alongs.
where you
We did
riffed.
Plan 9 too at some
Plan
point,
9.
didn't we?
Yep.
And we
Yeah.
did Snow Beast
Yeah.
Oh.
and
okay.
Attack of the Giant
Attack of the
Leeches.
Giant Leeches. Yeah. That
Wow.
one was actually like I liked Attack of the Giant
Leeches
It
is
wasn't
fun.
good, but it was fun. Terrible video quality though on that one. There were a few scenes where I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah. Another trivia question. What was the topic of the first episode? Like, what was the main thing we talked about?
Fuck, you've told me this.
It's a hint. It is a single movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Was it? It was probably a current release at that
It
time
was a
too.
new-
Yeah. Okay. So
It was The Incredibles 2.
no,
No, it was Spider-Man Far From Home.
It was not.
I'm trying
It
to think what
involves Andy's favorite band,
Bohemian
Oh.
Rhapsody.
Yeah.
Was it really?
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Wow.
Really.
Topic of the
American
first
classic.
episode.
Andy, tell us how you feel about Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody is the best Lifetime movie about a band ever made. Yeah.
More
Listen,
trivia.
here's the thing. I'll watch it. Like, I'll watch it and I'll like it. Like, because I like Queen. But yeah, it's basically a Lifetime movie. That's like Freddie Mercury was gay. Shh.
Yeah.
But let's have this movie be about how much he loved this woman, but as a friend.
As a friend.
But it's about him loving her the whole time.
And really, at the end of the day, like, their parties were kind of tame.
Yeah.
Everybody got along.
Yeah, that movie.
Brian May and Roger Taylor are pretty agreeable.
Hey, did you know they help write We Will Rock You? Did you know that? They'll make sure you know that.
Oh man, everybody's stuff keeps like reloading on me too. So it literally, like, for like a second, all I saw was Casey going.
Hey,
My face has stayed the same since Bohemian Rhapsody was brought up.
you guys remember Mike Myers? He headbanged to the song Bohemian Rhapsody. No one would ever do that.
Oh man, Bohemian Rhapsody really brought the room down.
I like the movie. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
You know what? Here's the thing. If you can win Best Actor for pantomiming and buck teeth, then, like, get out. Like, just, ugh.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's the definitive "it's fine" movie of all time.
The definitive it's fine performance, and it's still won an I don't understand.
I feel like,
okay,
since we're talking about this catchphrase of Andy's saying it's fine, I want to talk about how pleasant the Christmas countdown was and how much fun I had watching watching the Christmas countdown live that year. That was it was one of, because the only other live show that I wasn't a part of was the 80s horror countdown, and I had to be just like streaming it for SuperCon, so I actually got to go to a live show this time around for the Christmas one, and I had so much freaking fun watching the Christmas countdown with my buddy Curtis that year. I really did. It was like this it was just one of those pleasant moments during the holiday season that year that I genuinely enjoyed.
It was the hottest live show for me, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think your Pauly Shore MGK hybrid
that's
that you
true.
were wearing was pretty hot.
I sweated a lot at the Schmuckies. And I just looked really good. But
listen, we also got Jingle All the Way on 2 different countdowns. Live
we did.
Shows, so.
Jingle All the Way is the only one to be on 2 of them.
Mm-hmm. Not anybody, not everybody can pull off that outfit that Sam was wearing at the Schmucky. So I appreciate the fact that you came.
It's really true.
Like, we were doing an award show, and I wanted Sam to show up as our resident Kevin Smith with his blazer and his T-shirt and his backwards hat. Like, I mean, he's our resident. He's like Kevin Smith, but Samified. And he shows up looking like the 80s threw up in 2022. You know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I called an audible.
And an audible I completely got behind, because as soon as you showed up, I was like, "Yeah, that's awesome." I couldn't even argue that outfit, Sam.
It was really embarrassing though, because like I got really hot and sweaty, and so I didn't want to like put my jacket on, and then I went outside and it was cold, and then that whole weekend I was like in bed with a stuffy nose, and like because I went outside and, you know, a mesh top and and like it was nuts. Fun time.
Good times.
Mesh tops and bunny costumes. The Sam Lent story.
Now, had
God,
Sam
that is
come
a
into the,
great name for a memoir, isn't it?
it absolutely is. The only thing that would have been better is if, we would have if you show up at the
Yeah.
MCU show.
I mean, we've already established that you're adorable, Sam.
All right, I'll get to my last trivia questions here, boys, and then we'll wrap.
No, let them
wrap
keep
this up.
kissing my ass. What is this?
No, I've had enough of that. All right, trivia questions. I went through our main guests that we've had the most reoccurring on the show: Derek, Charlie, Andy, Blake. Which episodes they first appeared on? Do you guys know what Corey's first episode was, though?
It was a weird movie, right? Or is weird subjective, I guess. Maybe it wasn't
You're on.
Are you asking me or are you asking Sam?
Subjective.
I know what his last one is. Cool World.
Oh man. I remember listening because there was because you guys took a tangent somewhere and Corey went off on some other weird movie for a little bit.
God, I don't know.
I don't remember. Man.
Corey's first episode was So Bad They're Good Movies.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so
that
then
makes
probably the tangent he went on was one of the movies that was so bad it was good.
Probably. What else did I have? What was I'll throw out 2 Killer Countdown questions in here too. What was the first episode of Killer Countdown?
Friday the 13th.
It was Friday the 13th.
I'm sorry, Casey. My internet's really spotty. What was the question again? It's been really bad.
It was what was the first Killer Countdown episode?
Oh, okay.
And who were the guests on that? Where did you guys have guests
It was
on that
just
one?
Casey and Blake, I think, wasn't
And
it?
then Brian was there too to help us moderate.
Yeah.
And then we recorded the found footage episode, which is our second one, the same night without preparing. So
and was that where we kind of learned that Brian did not like the Friday the 13th movies? Did he mention that?
I don't know if you had watched it yet.
Oh,
I think
okay.
this was before
we figured out that Blake didn't like him though, because good God, he was like, these all seem the same to me. I remember Casey, you played like number 6, and he was like, wait, is this the one with the girl with like telekinesis? Because he binged them all in like one weekend. He's like, they all just bled together.
I don't think I had watched my binge Friday the 13th until after you guys did that episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, if you're binging the Friday the 13th movies, they do start to bleed together.
That's a tough assignment.
Yeah. I love those movies, but yeah.
Best way to watch them is one every year.
Yeah, exactly. They're kind of like the Leprechaun movies. You can watch one every St. Patty's Day, but if you try more than that, you're going to get burnt out pretty quick.
Yeah.
I do have a favorite Killer Countdown episode, and that was the Chucky movies that you guys, the Child's Play series, when you guys did that with Andre. Dre came on. That was one of my favorites that you guys did for Killer Countdown.
I wish I would have been on that one because I love Chucky so much.
Yeah.
Chucky's like, nah.
I really enjoyed getting to do the 90s horror one because I'm like surprised that one of my picks did not get stabbed. Like, because Blake was infuriated that I chose The Frighteners as one of the best horror movies in the 90s. And it made it. Like, it stayed. Neither one of us used our stabs that time.
Yeah.
So
that was a good episode.
That was fun.
A really good episode.
That was a lot of fun. And then
what was Derek's first episode ever?
Ooh.
Is it
Spoilers?
A24?
It yes, A24 in the Killer Countdown.
Boom!
Yes, that is correct.
I knew that.
Nice.
Nice. Too. I love that one. I love A24. So
A24.
that was like, yeah.
Did Midsummer end up in number 1 on that one?
Yes, that is right.
As it rightfully should. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Way to go, Sam.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. That's all I have for trivia. That's all I wrote down.
Those are good.
That's it. I don't have any more.
Fun little factoids.
Nuts.
Did you guys already talk about like the three hosts? Did you guys already talk about what your favorite episodes to do were? Like, did you have a favorite episode that you did?
All of them. Come on, Andy. All of them. That's what we were doing.
Here we go. Spoken like a real dad. I can't choose one of my kids as my
getting to talk
favorite.
both Space Jam movies, and I know that's a weird topic around here. I know that we're a slightly negative on Space Jam 2 group.
I'm not.
Slightly.
Yeah, that's right. That's why Brian
That's a
called me
hot
on
garbage
that Patreon
movie.
episode.
Yeah.
That
movie's pure dog shit, Sam.
I have a soft spot for both of those movies, and yeah, I like talking Space Jam, especially the original one. I was only a guest when I talked those, but they were fun. Space Jam was just like one of those, like, it's one of those movies that I know isn't good, but it had such a massive part of my childhood that, like, rewatching it is just, it's like, I don't know. It's like a holiday. Once a year, I get out Space Jam and I watch it, and then I like watch Looney Tunes for like
once
a
a year.
month.
Sam pumps Jam, and
self-flagellation from Sam Lentz.
I mean, Dracula Dead and Loving It just because of recency bias a little bit stands out as a great one. Two fun ones that we kind of like messed with, like the premise of the show that I thought were a ton of fun. Andy, you were on one, was when we pitched a like Disney remake but live action.
Oh, that was a good one.
Oh yeah, that was a fun one.
So those were fun.
Yeah.
And then I think it was right around that time we did like pitching the X-Men for the MCU. Like who would play the X-Men? So like those are always fun to come up with.
Yeah.
Some of these that you're bringing up, it's really funny to like. I'm remembering some of the things that I was doing while I was listening to those, because I specifically remember when you guys were doing the remake or the Disney live action one. I specifically remember that I was cleaning a toilet when you guys were talking about some of them.
I was cleaning a toilet when Andy was talking about the Black Cauldron.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was hilarious, like because I remember Andy just passionately talking, because Andy never speaks passionately, guys. It's such a rarity. But
I'm pretty flat. Like I'm pretty flat.
Yeah, he never.
My conversation topic.
But I do remember like that I was cleaning a toilet just going, damn it, Andy. Like you were making me laugh so much during that episode.
This is my Black Cauldron.
Yeah, exactly.
I never knew one could hate that movie so much until Andy was showing how much of a despise he hated that movie.
It is I very rarely feel like an animated movie would translate better as a live action film. I think Black Cauldron would be better as a live action film because that cartoon sucks. That is a garbage motion picture.
I like Black Cauldron, but I remember one of your picks was Gasper.
Gasper Noé
doing a Black Cauldron movie.
I want him to get real weird with it.
Yeah.
I have a question for you guys then. I know that your recent Patreon episode was covering movies that, like, your favorite movies that you didn't get a chance to talk about on the show. Do you have any movies that you really hate that you think would have made fun episodes to just kind of lay into? Like, are there anything that's kind of the opposite? Because I know we don't like to be like super negative on these shows, but is there a movie that you really just wanted to lay into that you didn't really get a chance to do so?
I don't think I could ever do that, Andy. For as much horror as I want to get, or how much crap I want to give to like Silly Boy Camp and stuff like that, at the end of the day, somebody made a movie, somebody wanted to make that, and I can't fault them. It might not be for me, but I can't ever fault somebody for not producing something they wanted to make.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I'm one of
Brian,
those
but the correct
people that,
answer is RIPD. That's the correct answer for this.
hey,
RIPD.
I like R.I.P.D. It's
Of course
a
you do,
bad
Sam.
movie, but you know what? Jeff Bridges. That's all I have to say. I love Jeff Bridges. Um, no, I mean, I'm kind of with Brian. Like, I don't like tearing things apart. I just like a lot of movies. I have a hard time, like, I'm not a good critic because I don't nitpick. I don't like, I don't know. If a movie makes me feel good, if it makes me cry, like, that's it. That's all I want. I just want to feel something out of this movie, and it doesn't take a lot because I'm a very emotional person. So, but that being said, the movie that I really wanted to lay into after I watched it, I got to. Home Sweet Home Alone is an irredeemable piece of shit that hates poor people, and it can go die in the hole I dug for it. So,
Yeah, I was gonna say two. We covered two of them on the show: Home Sweet Home Alone and Space Jam 2, whatever it's called. But we also did a Michael Bay episode where I laid into Michael Bay pretty hard.
Yeah.
Like that would be my pick.
Do you like any Michael Bay movies? Just out of curiosity.
The Rock.
yes,
Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
That's fair. That's fair.
Pain and Gain.
Yeah. Yeah.
And hopefully, not too long here, I'll finally be able to finish Ambulance so I can see how that ends.
It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
I'm looking forward to
Surprising
it.
amount of
I'm
fun.
not gonna lie, I almost just dropped the $25 to buy it on Vudu the other day. I was like, I don't know, man. This looks kind of fun.
You are insane.
And Sam,
Should be on Peacock in a month, so
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
dope.
that's the,
Okay.
that was my hesitation. That's why I was like, it'll be on Peacock here shortly. So I was like, I'll just finish it then.
It belongs on the
for
cock.
sure.
I mean, it is Michael Bay, so of course it
Put that
belongs
ambulance on the cock.
Yep. Well, gentlemen, you guys have any other things you want to bring up before we call it quits?
You know what? I'll start this because I think I do want to give you guys a big shout out, big thank you. Even though technically right now Casey's my worst friend.
At least I'm still your friend.
Yeah, at least you're still
Even
my
if I'm the
friend. You're
worst
still
one.
on the list. Yeah, even if you're on the bottom of the list, you're still on the list. So, this just being involved in your guys' little world has been awesome, and I hope like some of our conversations continue. Because personally, like Andy and Casey and I started a little show that only lasted a couple of episodes, and but out of that we have our own little group chat, and I talk to you guys like every day through that group chat, and honestly, like some of my best friends have come through this, and some of my best experiences. I've also become like, in the outside world, I've become a better host at wrestling shows because you guys have allowed me to host your guys' shows. I've learned more of the art of being an MC because you guys have given me that experience. And on top of all of that, like we started off, you guys have all been some of my best friends over the last few years, and I want that to continue. It honestly has been one of the best experiences of my adulthood. So.
Yeah, I'll talk for a minute here.
Like, how do I follow that?
Well, no, I know I can. That's the thing. Sorry, Charlie. I could follow that. I'm a pretty good speaker.
I'm really not offended.
Well, the thing about it is like every box I'm looking at right now on the screen, like I've genuinely come to know because of this show. Derek and I have talked many times that like we would see each other around town, but we would never interact. It was just kind of like, because that's not what people do. But because I got to know Brian and Casey, and we kind of founded this idea of like, we should get movie people together to sit and talk about the fact that they love movies. That's how I was able to actually have a conversation with Derek. Like finally, after my mother urging me for years to meet this person that I've never met, like I finally met this person. And Sam, I knew about from listening to Backlot 605, and that you guys brought him on and joined into the chat, and Sam joining the hosting duties really gave you guys a whole fresh, like, little boost of life there, and it was just awesome to hear. And Charlie, listen, if I didn't hate Charlie for a little while, I never would have grown to love him. And that's because of this show. And I've had this conversation with Blake a ton, where it's very difficult as an adult, and probably as an adult man, to make new friends and really have strong new male friendships. But you guys have filled that gap for me. And I know that that's going to continue, because this show is even with this show being gone, but this show has been so much fun to kind of not only be able to participate every now and again, but also be able to listen to. It's when you sit and listen to the show, it feels like I'm having a conversation with my friends, even when I'm not on the show, even when I'm not actively participating. I'm just listening to my friends talk about these movies. And I'll be honest, there have been times where I listen to you guys talk and I've yelled, I've cussed, I've been like, you don't even fucking know what you're talking about, But
it's mostly
because,
towards Sam, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. But it's because I know you guys and enjoy you guys so much that I'm kind of like, it's like the pesky little brothers, and in Brian's case, the older brother. The old
not
fart.
By a whole lot.
You're old. Just older. Just old.
I got you by like what, a year or two?
Old.
Maybe?
Old.
Shut it.
You mean it? You really think I'm pesky?
And 2 kids.
Old. But yeah,
I earned these gray hairs, fuckers.
Yeah, but it's been this. I don't know. It's just been a great. It's made the last few years really, really great. Getting to know you, getting to have this show around, and there's going to be a void when it's gone. But I think that you guys are all so talented and knowledgeable and passionate about this thing called film, that whatever you choose to do from here is going to be successful. So yeah, it's going to suck that you're gone, but we're not leaving
really
my life. So
yeah, you can't get rid of us that easy, Andy.
No,
I can.
Yeah, just don't answer a text message. That's all.
Yeah, Andy kind of took a lot of my story, because I know the first time I met many of you was that first meetup at Full Circle, where I met most of you there. Mm-hmm. And, a lot of things developed. I mean, Andy and I talked about on the show, because my mom also pressured me to meet Andy as well. That's, and that's what put me over the edge. And also, at that time, was like, I do want to meet a bunch of other people in this town who love movies, because I know somewhere they're out there. And that was very fortunate, and, I remember after we recorded that A24 Killer Countdown, Casey had asked me, hey, do you want to contribute to the website? And I was like, I'd be happy to. And that's what I did, through the coming soon and the box office stuff and reviews and articles and blah, blah, blah. So that was all very fun. And I was glad that I had my own little way to contribute to this whole thing, as well as doing like all the live shows and the schmuckies. I was actually just remarking this afternoon of like, it's too bad we don't have a schmuckies coming up in 8 months, because, I just have it on my mind that we probably would have just straight up given Kihei Kwan a supporting actor schmucky right off the bat, and now we don't get to do that. Yeah. So, those will be the things we miss, and especially like the advocacy that you guys had to find those other people out there who loved movies and try to create that community of movie makers and movie lovers and all that stuff. And that's my hope, even as this wraps up, that we'll still have the ability to seek out those people, whether it be, continuing through the Facebook group or just our interactions in the community or whatever else happens. I don't want that momentum to kind of get lost in the whole thing, because I know there's, if we were able to find each other through all this, just think of who else we can find in here too. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember the first time we had that meetup at Full Circle. I remember the moment where Andy saw you, Derek,
Yep.
and Andy's like, "You're that guy. You're that guy I see everywhere." And at that point, you guys obviously had not known each other. It was just this pure
a happy
joy and excitement on Andy's face of, "I know you. I know you from somewhere.
Yep.
I've seen you everywhere. Now we can be friends." And
That's awesome.
So cool. And I mean,
And now he's my hosting buddy.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I mean, me and Brian knew each other before the show, but not. I mean, we worked together for 3 months.
Couple years.
Worked together like before we started the show.
Yeah.
Couple months. That was it. I didn't know Sam. I didn't know
You
Charlie.
started in July?
Yeah.
July.
We started
August?
the show in November.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from
We
July,
like talking about movies. Let's start just talking about movies online.
And that's what happened. Then we found. I mean, that's how we found everybody because of this. I mean, Andy, we found was, oh, hey, look, there's another guy from Sioux Falls doing the same thing we're doing. Let's talk to him because he seems cool.
Which I
He
remember
likes
when
movies.
you and I had that conversation, Casey, because I remember we were looking online and like trying to peruse and throw like keywords at Facebook and like hitting nothing. It's like, how is nobody doing this in Sioux Falls? Let's do this. And then we're like 2 or 3 episodes and all of a sudden like, where'd this guy come from? He's been here for a little while. How did we miss him?
And then, like, right around the same time, we found Blake and Jameson doing the same thing online. And turns out Andy and Jameson knew each other from years before that, too. And kind of this small little world that we started gathering people in. I mean, Charlie was just a kind of, hey, we want to talk about wrestling. Who should we get? Well, let's get the announcer from the local wrestling.
The only guy from local wrestling who knows how to talk. Awesome.
Are you saying all your wrestling crew people, whatever, don't know how to work a mic for their?
Oh, I'm gonna plead the fifth.
Learn how to cut a promo, boys.
How them promos?
I'm trying to throw you underneath the bus. You're not taking the bait, Charlie.
Yeah, I'll plead the fifth.
The best promos this city has seen in the last 5 years come from these 2 guys.
I know, right?
Car promos must live on.
Oh yeah.
I was ahead of my time too. I was wearing a mask in one of my promos.
Hey, in terms of wearing masks, for the sake of the little weird bout thing that we had with Andre the Giant thing, is Charlie wearing his stormtrooper helmet, giving you all the bump and grind outside of the movie theater.
No, I wore it throughout the whole Star Wars movie, and I threw popcorn at Andy. Is how it worked.
Yeah,
no, I remember.
They weren't.
I wasn't sitting right next to Andy watching the movie.
No, we weren't smiling and then groaning at the movie together. Charlie was on the other side of the theater throwing popcorn at me over other people.
Yep.
I mean, there was like one. I feel like there was one moment where Andy and I were both like collectively happy. Was when Wedge showed up, and we were both like,
"What a disappointing way to end." Sorry,
we're not going to end it. We're not going to end it on Rise of Skywalker. No, we're not ending this on Rise of Skywalker.
Keep talking, please.
No, I think that's one of the cool things. And again, we were kind of reminiscing about over 3 years and kind of all of us becoming friends out of this. And I think that's the real cool thing. Like, who gives a shit about what movie we talked about?
Right.
Like, really, who gives a shit? Like, it doesn't matter. I think this is the cool part of us.
You mean the real movies or the friends we made along the way?
Are the friends we made along the way, and Sam Lenz. Sam, the little brother to us all, including me.
He's not older than you.
I was going to say Sam, who's older than Casey
than me. That's my little brother. Yeah, and I think that's really the cool thing. And again, that's something I kind of keep telling myself, and this is what's changing. It's one last podcast you have to listen to every week. Yeah. That's it. We're still going to be at the state.
Mhm.
We're still doing movie events around here. We're still at SuperCon. We're still going to
Still keeping
hopefully
all our
be.
group chats open.
Yeah, we're still at least talking to each other in our group chats. We're still making fun of Sam and them. We're still doing the same things we've been doing. It's just you have one less podcast in your feed. So that's really all.
And we
that's
have
changing.
more time to watch movies that we want to that aren't predetermined by a schedule that we make a year in advance.
That aren't History of the World Part 1. Yes.
I don't know. Somebody
Yeah,
made me
I
watch
never
Doctor
realized
Strange
that.
recently.
I didn't realize that was going to be the movie.
Echoes,
Casey,
you're
that was gonna
cruising.
break you.
But yeah, I think that's I don't know. That's really cool. What has happened over the last 3.5 years? And like Derek said, we're not done. This ain't it.
Yeah.
We've only just begun. Just like the MC, like Avengers Endgame. That's the end of Phase 3. All right, let's snap them out of here. This is our Endgame. Phase 4 is on the way. Hopefully, it starts better than Phase 4 did.
This is the perfect way to start Phase 4 is with Andy.
With Andy humming.
Just humming.
We've only just begun.
I wish he didn't know the words. I just wish he. I should order pizza later.
Eat my
Tacos
curry.
too.
I think I need to make a grocery
Ready
list.
to wrap it up.
Well, boys, let's wrap it up like a burrito. Sam, Brian, do you guys have any final thoughts? Any smack talk to these schmucks that we're going up against
No,
in 2
I'm going
weeks?
I'm not smack talking
I love-
anybody on here.
Okay,
I
will
love
at the
you
end.
all. I love that we got to become friends over this crazy adventure. I love that I got some random message from Blake and that I actually answered it. And I told him, yeah, I'll come to Jaws. And then even though I had social anxiety and didn't want to go to Jaws on the day of, Maria pushed me out the door and I went anyways because she's like, it'll be good for you. Because it was good for me. So that's all. If I say any more, I'll cry. So
It's okay to cry. It's okay to cry.
No,
right.
we're not
It's all
going
right,
to do that.
Fine, don't cry.
Not on a live thing. I'm just gonna if my eyes look bloodshot, it's because I'm
'Cause you're high, Sam.
yeah, that's why.
Mhm.
Mhm.
We've already talked about your Scooby-Doo lunchbox on a prior episode
I'm telling you, it's empty.
because you're fucking high.
That explains a lot, Sam. Boys, let's wrap this thing up. We're at 10 o'clock here. We have this isn't it though. We're not done. This is just kind of a fun. Hey, thanks for the memories. But we got one more left in us, boys. You guys thought the Dracula episode was the peak? We haven't even begun to peak. We have one more episode left to go. Andy will be singing the national. Andy will be singing the national anthem, or "Thanks for the Memories."
Thanks for the memories, even though they weren't so bad. Look like you, only sweeter.
At least I'm not the only one who thought of Fall Out Boy when he said that, though.
I'm glad you caught the reference. May 14th.
He's gonna start
Boy.
singing "Remember Me" from Coco. Everyone's gonna start crying.
Remember me. Remember me.
You guys remember with the grandma?
For a minute there, I thought Derek was like, what is going on with these people? He had a straight face, and he finally cracked. I'm like, okay, he's not just pissed off right now.
I'm too tired for this.
Tired.
Behind me, they'll go. I don't know.
You busted out Moana.
Well, on behalf of Andy, what else can we say but you're welcome? Thank you guys for listening.
Except you're welcome.
All right, I got to try to think of my sentences more clearly that do not have lyrics from songs in them.
There's lots of songs out there. You're not going to win. You might as well just close it off and just hit the end button.
You're just going to shut me out of the rest of this.
We're just going to kick Andy out forever.
Go into the green room. I'll stop.
All right. Well, let's plug our actual last show, the grand finale, the MCU Tag Team Turmoil, May 14th, Average Joe's Gaming. Let's make a little special fun announcement here on that. We're not done yet. We've made a bunch of announcements, including Andy or Charlie's teammates, our contestants, our hosts. The fact it's our final show, we got one last surprise hidden up our sleeve.
We do.
We're throwing a pizza party after. Boy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So after the show, if you come out May 14th at Average Joe's, we're going to have a little pizza party to celebrate this big culmination of local podcasters, local nerds coming together in harmony and pizza. We're all coming together for one big show. So, yeah. Do you guys have any final thoughts? No? Okay.
No.
Sam's too tired for this.
Sam's high.
Well,
I'm not.
he's high on life, guys.
I want to be.
He's high on emotions.
A nickel bag of life.
How the hell you wind up like this?
All right. Well, Andy, I'm going to call on to you one more time before I hit the music. Well, I'm gonna give a one last shout out to everyone: Derek, Brian, Sam, Andy, Charlie. Thank you all for being here. This has been a pleasure. I'm very much looking forward to partying with you guys. The only way we know how, not like drinking from a keg or jumping off buildings, but talking about eating pizza and talking about movies. Yeah, the only way we know how. So, Andy,
being home by 9.
Andy, sing our theme song out of here.
Ooh.